Look at that, eh? Borrida, Cymru. That's good morning, Wales, by the way. Looking nice, isn't it?
There's a lot of Wales that is just gorgeous, but it gets too much rain, I think.
Well, I'm from the Lake District, so
Oh.
to me it's quite dry.
Also in fine fettle are our experts, debutant Stephanie Connell and veteran Charlie Ross.
The sun is out, the sky is blue, and here am I, stuck in here with you. Are you feeling romantic? No. I thought I'd ask.
Quite. They're far too busy for a canoodle. So many new challenges to face.
Do you know any Welsh at all?
Nye. Is that Welsh?
Nye?
Yes. Do you know any Welsh, Charlie?
I do like a bit of Dylan Thomas.
You're going to recite some?
Mafanwy.
Oh, that's it.
Was a character in Under Milk Wood.
Charlie is an auctioneer and music enthusiast
Boom, 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 boom.
with a nose for a fine antique.
Oh, it smells fabulous.
While Steph from Surrey,
Yeah, don't do that.
a top auctioneer turned dealer,
Very New York or Chicago.
is much more 20th century. Like their 1960s Hillman Super Mink.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It is.
And you've started making money.
I started making
Miss
money.
Connell.
I have.
You got the hang of it now.
I've nearly got back to what I began with, so that's good.
Began with? That sounds Welsh too. Steph, who set out with £200, now has £193.66p. While Charlie, who started with the same sum, boasts an enormous £417.66.
You're like Rockefeller, you've got loads of money.
Rockefeller, and you are Cinderella.
You're going in and buying Van Goghs, and I'm going in and negotiating, what have you got for a £5?
They kicked off in Kent and thoroughly explored that county before venturing both north and west. Then they journeyed through the middle of England towards the Cotswolds and now South Wales. Eventually, they'll swing back east before finally finishing journey's end in the Midlands at Market Harborough. Later, they'll be making their way to an auction in Worcestershire at Middle Littleton. But their first stop is in Cardiff, Bay City and capital of Wales. Motto? The Red Dragon will lead the way. And bang on cue, the Blue Minks.
Look, here we are. The pumping station. I'm going to go.
He can't contain himself.
I'm not waiting for you.
Looks like Charlie's motto is, devil take the hindmost. I shouldn't worry though, Steph. This place is enormous. There's more than enough to go around.
Oh.
Oh, Charlie, careful. Don't get too close.
We've spotted something really fun. It's a pub Skittles game. It's got a label on this end which says it was manufactured by Giles Sports Depots, who were based in Newport and in Cardiff. So it was made in Wales. Not only is it kind of quite a stylish thing in its own way, but it's fun and you could play it and it's actually usable. So if I just do this, yay, that was a good one.
Not bad, but you're supposed to serve around the pole.
And then you just put them back up again.
Sorry, Steph, but we can't pass up this opportunity to savour your astonishing innings at bat and trap. Now, once more, in action replay. Well worth it. OK, let's talk to dealer Bob.
So it's priced at £75. What's the very, very best?
I'll give you one price on it because I think it's worth that. £35. That is the one and only price.
OK, £35, it's a deal.
I should think so too. Ah, now look who's turned up.
What have you got there?
Hello, you can't have it because I've already bought it.
You bought it?
I bought it. Do you want to
Can
get
you
in?
play it?
Let's have a look.
Oh. I've won.
You absolute cheat.
Didn't seem strictly within the rules, did it? Never mind. Time to pull your finger out. It's not as if he's short of a bob or two.
The old secret from Roscoe is find something without a price tag on it. 1870 London Apostle sifting spoon. Apostle spoon because it has one of the apostles on the top, hence the name.
There are 13, symbolising the Last Supper. That might be Peter.
It's well marked. London 1870. So it's truly Victorian. We have Victoria's head on there. Well, the cabinet belongs to somebody called Steve, but he hasn't put a price on it. So there's always a chance. I suspect he's asking 65 and I want to pay 30. How about that? Should we go and find out?
Courtesy of the delightful digits of shopkeeper Sue.
Okay, Charlie.
Thank you. Hello? Hello, good morning. How are you? There's a sifting spoon and it hasn't got a price on it. Would you take £30 cash off an old man? Can you trim it just a little bit? I'm within a gnat's whisker of buying this. That's very kind of you. £35. Lovely. Well, we've got a deal.
You're happy
Thank you.
to go
On behalf of Stickles.
Okay.
Marvellous. Can I put that on one
You
side?
certainly can.
And I'll go and find something else.
He's also off to a good start.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, Steph's persuaded Bob to let her have a rummage in his storage no-go zone.
You'll see 500 paintings at least.
Oh, really? OK, right. Well, I'll go and have a dig around.
And the books there's like 1,000 books and there's probably 500 records there.
Sounds like she's going to have her hands full.
What have we got?
Quite dusty, too. Back to Charlie. Buy those nice clean cabinets.
I've seen a scent bottle in here. In fact, there are two. It's a pair of scent bottles. Well, I assume they're a pair. They've got, I'm hoping, Hallmark silver tops. Yes, London. WC, William Cummins, made a lot of photograph frames. There we go. Open up the top. And there is no stopper. That's a serious problem. But you can get a stopper made, but it's quite expensive. I like the hobnail cut. You can see the way these are cut. It's nice. Sue, may I borrow you?
Yeah, what do you want, Charlie?
Well, I'm just looking at this, which is lovely. There are two in the same cabinet here, £60 each. Now, do you know how long they've been nestling in this cabinet for?
Not really.
No. It was a cheeky...
How about when I say yesterday?
Cheeky... Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Prepare to gird.
What can you do?
Should we say £40 each?
Gosh. Do you think we could just tweak them just a little bit? 75?
Go on, then. I think we can just about do that.
Shake me by the hand.
It's one shake after another in here. Now, what's Steph unearthed?
I found something really very nice. It is an English Channel nautical map. I don't know exactly what all the information relates to, but it does have a lot of the places that we've been so far on this road trip. It's got all the different places in Kent that we've been, London, and then coming out to here. Now, some of the facts that it says on the map: dangerous area, vessels entering do so at their peril. It was printed in 1936, so it's pre-war. So obviously when they made this map, they had no idea that this kind of information, I guess, during the war would have been hugely important. It's got no price on it. I've got no idea how much it is.
Well, I'm sure Bob can help you out there.
I found in your secret cubby hole of items this English Channel and Western Approaches map. What is your best price?
Right. That would be £25.
£25. It's a deal at 25. That's great.
Okay,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Let me give you some money.
Time to pay up. Charlie, too.
75?
75.
35?
Correct.
Makes...
110.
Oh, you're a natural mathematician. 110.
Marvellous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Okay.
indeed.
So, with the mighty till replete, it looks like our two are almost done. Almost.
Oh, these are sweet.
Hang on.
Oh, I like these. What these are a pair of cloisonne vases. Cloisonne is enamelled metal. So in this case, you can see underneath, if you have a look, that they are metal on the base, metal on the rim. All this threading here will be metal, and then the enamel is overlaid onto it to make this detailed floral pattern. They're nice, usable, decorative. Now with cloisonne, it often does get damaged, so it's always best to look at condition. Yeah, this one's got a little bit of loss to its enamel work here. It's obviously been dropped on the floor or taken a little bash at some time, and it's also got a little bit of a bash there. The other one actually seems to be in pretty good condition, so that's good. Now, how much are they is the question. Oh gosh, they're £12. Bit of a bargain. So I'm definitely going to take them at 12. I'll go and pay for them.
Well, that really was one hell of a shop.
What sort of time is this? For goodness sake.
Someone's in a rush today.
We've got to get on with it.
Yeah, all right.
He's right, of course. Tight schedule, as always.
Miss Connell, take me to heaven.
Or take you to Newport.
I think the latter, Steph. Much closer for a start. The next shop is in Pontypool, up in the valleys. But they're going via the nearest city. And this amazing structure.
I think in neutral, handbrake on, pray.
The Newport Transporter Bridge.
What a wonderful way to cross a river. Did you feel us move? Did it move for you, Steph?
Did.
Oh, this is wonderful.
The bridge over the River Usk is effectively part bridge and part ferry. A gondola attached to rails running between two enormous steel towers.
Have you ever been up the Eiffel Tower?
No.
I tried once. I got about 4 or 6 steps up and walked down again.
Oh, dear.
Yes, Charlie's not great with heights. But he's the one who's about to take a closer look.
Thanks very much.
There you go.
Don't buy anything too good.
Been doing a good job so far.
Have a good time.
Bye.
Now time to find out more about this incredible feat of engineering.
Looks rather high, Mike.
In the company of Newport Council's Mike Lewis.
They started considering ways of crossing the Usk at the end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
Whatever was built had to provide enough headroom for tall sailing ships of the day to cross underneath safely.
Yeah.
So a traditional bridge would need an enormous approach ramp, probably starting in Cardiff. Yeah. And the borough engineer, Robert Haynes, became aware of these new transport bridges that were beginning to be built at the end of the 19th century, thought this was like a cost-effective solution for Newport.
The councillors travelled to Rouen to see this bridge, the work of French engineer Ferdinand Arnaudin. He was soon hired to design a crossing for the Usk. It took 6 years to build, cost £98,000, almost 11.5 million in today's money, and was opened in 1906.
Here we have the engine room.
This is where it all happens. It's basically a long cable that goes to the far end of the bridge that pulls the gondola one way,
yes,
and the shorter cable pulls it back the other. Very, very simple piece of technology.
The 90-second ride on the transporter bridge was essential to the Newport economy. It meant that a steelworks could be built and the workers safely commute. Several ferry crossings had already proved fatal thanks to the extreme tides of the Usk.
It gets very high, almost lapping the top of these foundation stones.
Really?
Even the bottom of the gondola skips along the water at very, very high tide.
Gosh. Are there many ships to go up and down here?
Not any longer,
no.
But back in 1906, a lot of the port infrastructure was still upstream of where we are today. Ships moved up to the centre of the town up until the 1980s.
Really? How high is it?
It's 54 metres above the high water level.
Unfortunately, the gondola, which can carry just 6 cars, was never ideally suited to the rise of the automobile, and Newport eventually built more crossings.
How many steps did you say there were?
278.
I've done 24.
Nowadays, the Grade 1 listed structure, one of a handful of transporter bridges still in use worldwide, is primarily a tourist attraction. And unluckily for our correspondent, you're allowed to walk across the top.
Sunny side up.
Mind your step.
I'm minding everything. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Come on, Charlie. Some people would pay a fortune for those sort of thrills.
Mike, what's this sentry box here?
Oh, this is the toilet for the people working on the bridge.
Toilet up here?
Toilet with running water, 54 metres below.
Was it just a hole?
It is just a hole in a plank.
No.
Keep going. Don't look down. Now, after all that high anxiety, let's get back to Steph, keeping things nicely, grounded. Remember, she was headed north towards Pontypool, famous for its front row. Not sure Steph's much of a rugby fan, though. Roof rack, ragamuffins. Promising.
Hello there.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Steph.
I'm Alan. Pleased to meet you.
I've noticed you've got lots and lots of luggage and loads of different amazing-looking suitcases.
Yeah, it is a passion.
Yeah?
They do call me Mr. Suitcase.
Well, I'm going to stick with Alan. Anyway, this place could suit our Steph, all right. Just over £120 left to spend. Anything you'd like to recommend, Alan?
OK, here we have a food flask that was originally off a Vulcan bomber. So it's for the flight crew. So it's like a big thermos. There's glass lined and it's got 3 stainless steel tubs inside that the crew would have their food in.
Sounds logical, Captain.
So they just lift out.
Oh, that's really nice.
Vulcan bombers were once Britain's airborne nuclear deterrent.
Really cool. I like that a lot. How
Oh.
much is that?
That one is 35 on that. Wow. You can still use this today.
Yeah, I guess you could put your picnic in there, your dinner party in there, you could put whatever you like.
Yeah, your noodles in there, something like that.
Lots of food for thought. Anything even quirkier than a bomber's lunch?
I don't know what that is. Oh, it's obviously something to do with dentistry. It says on the top, the Amalgamated Dental Co. Limited, made in England, looks to be a foot pump. I really don't know what this is. I'm going to have to ask Alan. Alan, can you help me? What exactly is this thing?
This one seems quite barbaric because it's actually a foot pump for a dentist drill. So if you can imagine if he's drilling your teeth and all of a sudden the pump starts to run down, to pump up the pressure again, so we can carry on drilling your teeth. Yeah.
That's scary.
This was in actual use 70 years ago. We bought it locally. The chap was a dentist and he actually used this on a regular basis.
How much is it?
This is 50.
Is it?
How do you put a price on something so quirky?
It's tricky, isn't it?
Maybe just a bit too niche for Steph's purposes. Back to the flask, do we think?
It's £35. I'd really like to take it, but what is your best price?
We've had that a little while, so I could probably do 20.
Oh, OK, great.
Yeah.
Well, at 20, then I'll take it, I think. That's
OK.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Steph's in a decisive mood today.
Really nice to meet you.
Back together again? I just hope Charlie's got over his vertigo. Nighty-night. Next day, the lingo learning continues apace.
Just learnt the word lawn. That means lane on that sign we went down.
L-O-N.
L-O-N.
It's just a leafy lawn.
It is a leafy lawn.
Huh. They're the best kind, all right. Yesterday, Steph's money did all the talking, acquiring a Vulcan bomber food flask, some cloisonne vases, a chart of the English Channel, and a bar Skittles game.
Yay, that was a good one.
Which means she now has about £100 left to spend today, while Charlie splashed out on an apostle sugar sifting spoon and a pair of scent bottles.
We've got a deal.
So he has over £300 in his bulging wallet. Now, back to the lessons.
Penbloyd half-ass to you. Penbloyd half-ass to you. Penbloyd half-ass. Steph, that's the best I can do, really.
It's not my birthday.
That's all right. Just role play. Later, they'll be off to auction in Middle Littleton, but the first shop today is in the town of Usk, by the river of that name. Same one Charlie was messing about above yesterday. Steph's got Usk all to herself, though.
Good morning.
Welcome to Usk Emporium.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Steph.
Since you asked, says Simon. She's not doing too badly either, remember?
The label says Thor's hammer, only kidding, it's a plumber's hammer.
Still got over £100 in her kitty.
Oh, this is really cool. Love this Art Deco period terrarium. So used for keeping plants in. Got a liftable lid. It's got a really unusual, I've never seen this on a terrarium before, an Art Deco design on the glass on the top. It's a nice shape, got the hexagons, the original lead work. It's all complete.
The terrarium was invented by Victorian botanist Nathaniel Bagshaw Ward.
It has got some damage though, which isn't surprising with a terrarium that's this sort of age. But a usable antique, very cool, and it's a really nice way to keep plants. It is £110, so it's potentially a buy, but I'll carry on looking.
And while she does that, we'll catch up with Charlie, heading east towards the town of Chepstow. Situated on another great river, the Wye, which is also the border with England hereabouts. Ah, there he goes.
What a glorious town.
Oh, good morning.
And what a lovely shop. Are you Leslie?
I am.
I'm Charlie.
Pleased to meet you, Charlie.
I'm Tim. Of course, Charlie, as usual on this trip, has plenty left to spend. Over £300, actually.
What is that, Leslie?
Samovar.
A samovar.
Yes.
A Russian tea urn.
A Russian tea urn.
A Russian tea urn. You know what the label says? It's a salamander. A salamander is an amphibious reptile.
Obviously a slip of the pen.
Very easily done. Tell us about the goods.
It's 19th century, and it is so beautifully modelled, copper and brass, basically for boiling water. But this is such a classic design. I absolutely love the sort of empire style of the supports. Best London manufacturer, but that's all it says, doesn't got a maker's name. Some of ours used to make hundreds of pounds. They then went completely out of bed and they make 30 or 40 pounds, but I think that's just better than the average samovar.
Russian novelist Dostoevsky described the samovar as the most essential thing in Russia.
Leslie, how much is your English/Russian samovar?
75.
That's a really awkward answer because it's just got me tickled. Leslie, come here. I need to talk to you. I'm buying this because of the... or trying to buy this. I nearly slipped up there.
You did.
Because I love it as an object. The quality is superb. Can you do it for £60?
Go on, 60.
Are you sure?
Yes. Right.
I'm going to shake your hand before you forget.
Yes.
First bye to Charlie. Now, with her, Steph in Usk. Still prowling.
Oh, that's cool.
Do tell us more. Steph?
I like this. So it says on the label that they think it's a toothpick holder, and they've put toothpicks in it in the form of a shoe. But what I actually think it is a Vesta striker, so a striker for matches. So if you have a little look, it's rough here, so you can have somewhere to strike the matches there. It's silver topped. It's got a mark for London, but the date letter is quite heavily worn, so I can't see exactly when it's from. But it's quite a good novelty thing, and it's a bargain. It's in a sale. It was £19.50, now £8.50. And that price, I'm definitely going to have to buy it, especially if I'm going to meet Charlie.
Watch out, Charlie. Steph's about to put the boot in.
It's only £8.50, so I definitely like to take it.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, got to have it for £8.50. Deal.
Excellent. Deal.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Well, she's certainly keeping costs down. Back in Chepstow, Charlie has his samovar for £60. Anything else take your fancy?
This reminds me of my youth. I would say, look at that. This train, when it goes along, the engine driver goes up and down. And that would be hugely amusing for children. It's quite amusing for me.
Why are we not surprised?
And I would think the age of that is approximately the same age as me. I would think that was made in about 1950. I want to find a name on it. Nickel Toys, and that's not a name I know. I was expecting to find Chad Bally or something. It's crudely made. And I see the price is 14 shillings and 9p. And frankly, I think that's too much. Leslie, talk to me about this. Is it dirt cheap, or is it a treasured item?
£10 and it's yours.
I'd rather have it for £5, but I'm not going to argue. Thank you very much. Wonderful. I've got a trend set, and it'll go so nicely with a samovar.
Or a salamander?
I owe you money, so let's go and do the business.
Thank you.
Let's. £60 for the samovar and 10 for the train makes 70.
Thank you, Leslie. Bye.
Steady, Charlie. Oh, lordy. So while he stows his booty in the minx and gets back on the road, Steph's made a bit of a detour into the valleys to visit a World Heritage Site at Blaenavon, the remarkably preserved location of a 19th century ironworks.
Tita!
Oh, I did. Oh, got your step.
Nearly.
Got your step. You went there.
I'm Steph. Nice to
Hello,
meet you.
I'm Evian. This is my dog, Billy.
Nice to meet you, Billy.
Are you allowed to speak through me? Because he only speaks Welsh.
Oh, we're not going to be able to communicate then.
No.
What a shame.
You watch your step here because it's a building underneath here.
There's a building underneath.
Yes. So I think probably be safer if we went onto some solid ground.
Iron production during the late 1700s was transformed by the use of coal instead of charcoal and by the rise of the steam engine. It meant that smelting was no longer reliant on either wood supplies or water power. Local historian Evian can pinpoint the exact moment when this once rural sheep farming community began to experience that change.
There were three industrialists came from the Staffordshire area. There was Thomas Hill, Thomas Hopkins, and Benjamin Pratt. They leased this area from Lord Abergavenny. These are Lord Abergavenny's hills. And by 1789, within a year more or less, they had 2 furnaces going. All the raw materials were available here. You had the iron ore, the coal, which could be converted into coke, and you had the limestone, the 3 main ingredients to produce iron. This was probably the most modern ironworks in the world at the time.
The main product of the Blaenavon works, known as pig iron, was the essential material of the first industrial age, required for railways, engines, cables and bridges.
Come on then, sit on it, Bill, sit on it.
At the centre of it all, though, was the furnace.
This was a continuous process, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never extinguished the furnace. So even as they were tapping, taking the ore out of the furnace at the bottom, they were probably still filling it at the top as well. So as you can imagine, it was very, very noisy in here, and of course very hot as well. A hellish place to work, I suppose. The molten iron would flow down the troughs, which they'd formed in the sand here in the casting house, and this was pig iron.
Why did they call it pig iron?
Well, most of the workers that came here were from agricultural areas. So if you think of the trough that the iron is flowing down, and then you have little troughs coming off the main one, it reminded them of piglets suckling a sow. The main trough would be the sow, and the little ones would be the piglets.
Those cast iron bars made the owners very wealthy indeed, although the workers, of course, saw little of it. Also preserved at Blaenavon were some of the houses especially built to attract a skilled workforce from the Midlands.
These are good quality cottages built in the Staffordshire style. The only problem is the population rose from about 1,000 people to about 5,000 people. And so you had what was called the warm bed system. So more or less, when you got out of bed in the morning, there was somebody waiting to go into the bed to take your place.
How did they pay the workers?
They paid them in tokens, which were cast here in the works. This is a token.
Wow.
They could only spend the tokens in the company shop. You couldn't spend it anywhere else.
So that means that they ensured that they got entirely all of the workers' wages back to the company itself?
Of course. The company shop could provide you with everything from the cradle when you were a baby to a coffin when you died. And in between, they half-starved you.
That's shocking.
But for all its horrors, not least those perpetrated upon the surrounding countryside, Blaenavon, a name which can be found marked on railway lines around the world, made industrial Wales a force to be reckoned with.
The area was granted World Heritage status, I believe.
Right. And it was really a memorial to all the people who shaped this area. Don't forget, before the ironworks came, there was no Blaenavon. Blaenavon only exists because the ironworks is here.
Well, it's been fascinating. Will I diolch?
Oh, diolch yn fawr I ti, diolch yn fawr.
Thanks very much.
Oh, Welsh is really coming along. Now, the last time we heard from Charlie, he was close to the River Wye. Can you guess his latest gorgeous destination?
Wonderful place to stop. Underneath the very famous Clifton Suspension Bridge. You can see the little dots of people walking across the top of it. And of course, it was constructed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Yes, folks, it's the River Avon. Because Charlie's last shop is in the Bristol suburb of Clifton, once home to one of his cricketing heroes, the legendary W.G. Grace.
Oh, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. The name's Charlie Ross.
And I'm Michael Beath.
Michael, very nice to meet you.
And my daughter, Rachel.
May I say, even nicer to meet Rachel.
So, do we think Charlie's going to have fun in here?
Just my sort of shop. Absolutely wonderful. There's bits of this and bits of that. Must have cleared a school, I think, or a university. Something, of course, I never went to.
I hear his subtraction passed muster, though. Almost £240 still available.
Sweet set of shelves. Very arts and crafts. Nice oak, good patination, peg construction, and not overly expensive. But there's only one area I want to look at. good old English brown, the stuff that you can't give away, unless you're Michael, possibly. This is a fabulous William IV mahogany sewing table. Pull out the drawers, I expect to find compartments for your cotton reels and this and that and your pens. You could make it a writing table, but what gives the game away is the bag at the bottom. Pull that out, put all your wool in there. And that is a classic piece of English furniture on turned legs, original brass casters, and I would say 1840, as near as damn it. The price is £225, which I would describe as historic. In today's market, it might sell for £100, which is just absurd. It should be worth £650. Now, Michael, come over here. You put these bits of furniture just here, didn't you? Because you knew me.
Well, you're a connoisseur.
I was just looking at that, Michael. I've seen the price on it. I think we've got to forget about the price on it.
No, that's just the price we start with.
Yes, exactly.
Strap yourselves in.
I would not let that go under 80, and that is it. You couldn't buy the casters for £80.
You couldn't buy the knobs for £80.
I know. I won't go down that road.
No, I would rather you didn't.
Here we go.
But that is a figure I think we're going to have to stay on that, because I know it is the easiest piece for me out of the pieces around here.
Yes, that's the easiest piece. I'll tell you what the most difficult piece to sell is.
Well, I know what you're doing, because you're leaning on it. You're thinking,
A Georgian bureau.
Go on, tell me how cheap that could be. It could
Now, we're
amuse
messing
me.
about you now.
No, I'm not messing about. Amuse me.
It's not going to be cheap like that other one, but we'll do it at 85. Now, look at the price on there. Show the camera the price on there. That's 325. Now, I've done that on purposely, so you can't walk out of here without it.
Oh, I can.
You can. No, listen.
No, don't you start with me. I once bought one of these for £100, and the auctioneer sold it for 40 or 60 or something, and I cried.
Yes.
I cried.
I should like to have been there.
Yeah.
No, look.
Now, hang on. The sewing table is £80, right? And the bureau is 85.
Sounds like Michael's bargain bureau isn't quite hitting the spot.
I'll give you £80 for that sewing table.
Yes, that's okay.
That's okay, isn't it? Shake you by the hand and say, you are a gentleman, sir.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Charlie's bought more furniture, and we've now moved on to Tommy Cooper impersonations. Just like that. Time to make it disappear.
Thank you very much.
You want me to open the door?
No, I can do that.
Oh, look, he's eager to get that out of it.
I hope the minx isn't far off.
Afternoon, ladies. If I was going to stop and buy you a snack, what would you like?
Rhubarb and custards.
Oh, I like those too.
I'll see if I can get some. You can sit at the auction. You can sit in the auction sucking sweets.
But before that, shut-eye. Hello, Middle Littleton. Not a very nice day, is it? At least the auction's undercover, I suppose. After starting out in the Welsh capital and learning lots of the language, they've arrived in a Worcestershire village at Littleton Auctions with internet bidding.
I can't believe this. We've had sunshine all the way.
I know. And it's absolutely horrible.
Yes, but our lots aren't.
That's, well, I don't know.
I'm going to make a fortune today.
Charlie parted with £260 for his 5 auction lots.
This is a really nice quality samovars. It's got lovely feet, really smart design, but the problem with samovars is they're really difficult to sell.
Steph spent less than half of Charlie's total, £100 and 50p for her 5 lots.
Bar billiards, complete, or 9 pins if you prefer. It's quite crude. Edwardian at best, I think.
Not keen, eh? Let's hear the thoughts of the man who's got to sell it all, auctioneer Martin Homer.
Scent bottles, always popular. A pair of them makes them even more desirable, and I think they'll do quite well. The flask, the fact that it's got provenance being used on a Vulcan bomber, it's got all the fittings inside, and I quite like that. The sewing table is my favourite lot. It's William IV. It's always popular with the ladies. I've already got commission interest on my book, so I think we'll do very well with that one.
Also, in late-breaking news, according to Martin, Charlie's train is actually a steamroller. I think he's right, too.
It looked like a train to me, but of course it is a steamroller. It doesn't look anything like a train. That might make it rarer. Could make a fortune.
building up a head of steam as usual, and quite an appetite.
Well, this is rather nice, and you've got a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, starting off, we have Charlie's apostle spoon. Will it cause a stir?
Surely £30 for it. 30 I'm bid, thank you, madam. At £30. It's in the room at 30. I'm asking for 2 now. 32 on the internet. 35 in the room. 37 with you, madam. £40. At £40. You want 5, madam? At 40 with you, sir. All done then at £40.
Not bad.
I think meh is what the kids say, isn't it?
Could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Now for Steph's little boot Vesta. She got it in the sale.
Let's go £20 for it, please. 20 I'm bid, thank you. So we're in the room at £20. £22. 25.
Steve, you're going out the clappers.
27. Yeah. New bidder at 27.
What does it cost? £8.50?
At £27.
Oh, Roscoe,
we all done
your day's
then?
a number.
£27.
Well done, That's nearly £20 profit.
Crikey, Steph's on the march.
You're getting the hang of this, aren't you?
More?
Oh, I could
After the boot, the hobnail cut perfume bottles. Nice.
Shall we say £30 to start them, please? All over the place. 30, 37, 35, 37, £40, 45.
Well, the internet's flying off.
50 on the internet, 55. The internet's come in 60 with you, so we're in the room at 60. 65, back in the room.
You're all right here.
75.
Nearly.
£80.
Keep going.
At £80. Are we all done then? And selling at £80. 85, new bidder. 90 behind you. At £90. It's got to be one of Charlie's. £90. At 90, are we done? And I'm selling at £90. Sold it.
Just about got out sideways, I suppose.
He's not happy unless it's a huge profit on this trip.
They were really nice.
They were nice. Thank you, Steph.
Steph's cloisonne vases. More from her cheap and cheerful collection.
Go £20 to start me on those, please. 20 on straight in at £20, thank you. At £20, the room.
You're on a roll, aren't
22
you?
on the internet, 25 in the room. At
Doubling your money. Don't you worry about it. It only costs 12 quid. Don't get too greedy.
25, thank you, sir.
Slow progress, but she's certainly on the up.
Privilege to be working alongside you.
Charlie's turn at a bargain by now. His tenor train / steam engine.
It's actually a steamroller. OK, where should we go with this? £20, please. Let's go 15 for it then. Come on, surely £15.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh crumbs.
15 I'm bid, thank you. I've got a victim. At £15. At £15. At 15. 17 I've got now. At 17. £20 I've got now.
Yes.
At £20. At 20 is it 2 anywhere? And I will sell at £20. Going once, going twice. Sold at £20.
Congratulations.
Well, it made money. Whatever it is.
£20.
That's good profit.
More wooden toys. Step forward, Steph's Skittles.
And I've got some interest on the book, and I will start you off at £30. It's a mere 30, 32, 35, 40, 120 on the internet.
Sorry, sir.
120 on the internet at £120. I'm looking for 130
So
now.
exciting, I'm gobsmacked.
At £120 on the internet. At £120 and away at 120.
Bravo! Ripple.
Yes, a canny purchase, Steph. Her biggest profit to date.
Well done.
That's amazing.
Now, from Russia, with milk and 2 sugars. Charlie's samovar.
Can we get £50 start on that one?
It'll be 30.
30 I'm bid, thank you, at
Better than
£30.
nothing.
32 in the room now. 34 the next
it's
going now. 55 in the room. 60 on the internet, sir. 65 in the room now. The room's at £65. We'll give us 70 now. At £65. The room has it, and I'm selling.
So
We
near.
order then £65. 65.
That's
Less commission's not too bad.
It's a very nice thing.
It's one of the cheapest salamanders I've ever seen.
Lot number 120.
Strange how their buys seem to complement each other, isn't it? Steph's RAF flask, keeping the heat in the Cold War.
Let's go 20 for it then, come on. Surely 20 I'm bid, thank you.
You are well done.
Room's in at 20. 25. 27.
Bidding's a pilot.
£30? No, 27 at the back of the room. £30 new bidder. At £30. You want 2, sir? 32. 35.
Oh.
37. At £37. Bids there at 37 and selling at 37. Away at 37.
That profit. Phew.
Yep. 4 out of 4.
You've got the Midas touch. It's phenomenal.
Now for Charlie's last lot, his Bristolian bargain.
I've got interest on the book, and I will start you off at 120 on commission.
Charlie,
I'm away at £120, eh, gentlemen? 130. Back to me at 140.
You're back in the game.
At £140. 150, 160.
Really good money.
At 160, 170, 180. At 180, 190 takes me out. 200 new bidder. We're at £200.
You furniture.
£200.
Cheap.
210 anywhere. Going once, going twice, and away at £200.
Yes, sir.
That was really good.
Yes, he definitely saved the best till last.
Blimey. That's sort of skittle profit.
Finally, we have Steph's chart. She did well with a map earlier in the trip, so why not today?
50
Let's go
quid.
30 then. Let's have 20 for it. 20 I'm bid, thank you. Room comes in at £20. At 20, I'm looking
Might
for
make a
2
loss.
now. At 22 on the inside. Do you want 25? £25. In the room at 25. At 27 on the internet. You out, madam? Okay. Do I hear 30 anywhere? £30. New bidder at 30. At £30. Are we all done? And I'm going to sell. 32 on the internet just in time. 35 back with you, sir. At £35. We're at 35 in the room. All done and fair warned. At £35. And away at 35.
Give me a hand.
Number please, sir. Number please.
Yes, congratulations, Steph. A clean sweep.
That's just sensational.
Back in the game now, Charlie. Slow and steady wins the race. It's going to be like the hare and the tortoise. Except with the hare keeping pace with the tortoise the whole time.
Yeah, I think that works, but it's been a long day. Now, stand by for a very fine result. Charlie started out with £417.66, and after auction costs, he's now almost reached the 500 mark. While Steph, who began with £193.66, has finally made a thumping great profit. Now just shy of 300. Well done, girl.
Getting better all the time, aren't you?
It was a good auction.
Bar skittles.
That's the way forward, bar skittles.
Certainly is. I'm going to see if I can find some.
Next on Antiques Road Trip, in a rhyming slang special, Charlie's on his Todd Sloan.
It's a bit lonely being in the car without Steph. Hello, Steph. I can always pretend to talk to her.
While Steph floats her nanny goat.
It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Just be careful you don't fall in.